the school threats, which were just very disturbing, troubling. I think we'd all agree. Not a lot of learning going on when your school has to go on lockdown because some fool issues a threat on social media, which was typically the case in all of the different schools involved. And as I said, this was a problem nationally, from Ohio to Florida, lots of schools dealing with this. Nonetheless, when it comes to specific criticism here, it's been largely directed at MSCS because parents complained that they weren't told about it until often they had heard about it on the news and felt like they should have known that their school was on lockdown prior to that. And you couple this with what we've talked about in the past, Otis, with school shootings, that parents didn't know that the school was on lockdown, or not shooting, but guns showing up at school. It's a pattern that seems to be troubling to parents, and honestly, we have seen other examples as well. There was a news conference Thursday scheduled for 4 o'clock with Dr. Fagans that the news media was alerted about at 3:53. Right. So there's a problem with communications at MSCS.
Absolutely, there's a problem. And first, yeah, these threats have been going on all over the country, and they really started even before now. My nephew had a son who's at school down in Tate County, I think, either Tate or DeSoto County. They were having bomb threats at that school two months ago. But yeah, to get to MSCS, they continue to have a serious problem with communication. Now, the threats they had to take those threats seriously. I mean, look at what happened at Winder High School in Georgia. So they could not ignore it. But the communication process that they have set up right now just leaves so much to be desired. And then we find out that, or later on in the week, they started shifting blame to this private company that is responsible for sending out information.
You're talking about Final Sight. It's a software company that sends out the alerts when they're needed or whatever. And they say, well, we sent out alerts, but 60,000 went back undelivered because we haven't got updated information. We can't exactly send the information out if you're not going to give us the information that we're supposed to use.
Absolutely. The one thing that Dr. Fagans has to do, and she needs to make it a priority, is to get better at communication. Because I think that her tenure will be defined by how well she is able to communicate to the public, to parents and students, to the press. And if she doesn't get better with that, that will define her tenure in that job.
Chris, what are your thoughts? I mean, if you're going to be the person who shake things up, and that's what the school board was looking for when they hired Dr. Fagans, then you've got to be able to communicate to the public and through the news media as well about what's going on, and especially the parents.
Yeah, it's this incident is especially concerning. I agree with you. And I also agree with you that she has been shaking things up, seemingly in a good way. But with this, right, we know that the foremost responsibility of our public school system is to educate our children. But even before that, the threshold issue is that they are there safely, right? My children are in public school. And if something like this happens, the parents, the guardians, need to have information and direction immediately. So it may turn out that the fault was with the direct text messaging company that you mentioned. It may be that the fault is with Memphis, Shelby County Schools. I don't know. I think that remains to be seen. But what does need to be done moving forward is a very clear plan of action when these things happen, because unfortunately, they're probably going to continue to happen. Human nature being what it is, technology being what it is, the ease of these things, copycat actions taking place. They need to make sure that they have very firm policies to disseminate this information rapidly to parents. Because if you're a parent, you're hearing about it, you're getting text messages, you're getting calls, maybe you see some in the news media. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to go up to the school and get your kid? When are they letting out? It is a massive fiasco. And again, that threshold issue, are my children safe at our schools? We got to figure it out.
Well, let me speak to the parental piece. Otis is right, Chris is right. Let me just say a word for the parents who tend to overreact in this kind of situation.
Does happen.
It happens a lot, and it happens a lot in Memphis and Shelby County. I just hope that the parents would be as interested in the whereabouts of their children during a normal day. Go up to the school every now and then. Go to PTA meeting.
That's a good word.
Don't go to the school at this kind of fever pitch and a tragic emergency. You're just going to gum up the works. If there really is a shooter, if there really is that kind of situation, you don't want to be in front of the school creating more havoc. There were parents arguing with security guards and cussing and fussing and trying to get in. Well, you don't want that.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Right.
Yeah. Some of the blame directed at Dr. Fagans is that she was too quick to let go of a lot of her communications team. And so there just isn't the staffing. And we have heard several reports this week of an open revolt there where they took their concerns to the school board about what's going on as far as the whole topic of communications. Your thoughts on that, Reverend?
I've seen a lot of that information. I've received a lot of that information, and I can't defend the superintendent here. But what I can say is that the school board is responsible, and they better make sure that she responds in a way that gets back to the bottom line of educating the children. You can't successfully navigate a system like Memphis Shelby County Schools when you've got open revolt inside your administration, outside your administration. You don't have friends in the media. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, yeah. Larger issue that has kind of come up through all this is, and a lot of school districts is saying no to cell phones. They collect the cell phones from the kids at the beginning of the school day, and they don't give them back until the end, saying that they're a detraction from learning. But incidents like this past week has a lot of parents saying, well, I need to be able to get a hold of my kid. I want them to have their cell phone. We also know that cell phones can cause a lot of other problems too, especially when kids have control of them. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, my sentiments about that have evolved over time. Because as you all know, I used to teach, and I taught at the college level at the U of M, and it was so frustrating for me, especially in a large class, and I had a lot of large classes, and the kids would be on their cell phones and not listening or not paying attention to the PowerPoints or not responding. That was really frustrating, and I wanted to take their phones away. But in this day and age, we have to come up with something different on that, because let's say something does happen. A lot of times it's the cell phone message coming out from a student to a parent or to someone that helps to expedite some help. So my sentiments have evolved over that. I'm not sure that just blanketly taking away the student's cell phone is the answer. I don't know. What do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, that's a hard question. My gut is that you take them away at the beginning of a class, but you have them next to the teacher. So if something like this arises, the kids can go get them and talk to mom and dad. Another point which we haven't touched on, which I hope I'm not stealing anyone's thunder. I was happy to see that they've already arrested multiple people involved in this, and we don't have a lot of information on it. But that was quick, and that was encouraging to me. And it was good to see at the press conference. The sheriff and the superintendent, looks like they're working in tandem to get to the bottom of this. So I think that was an encouraging note.
With regard to the cell phones, that ship has sailed. I don't think it makes sense to confiscate the phones, let the kids keep the phones, and try to teach the best you can. But I think we have a deeper issue. For one, Treadwell, there are, in some classes, 45 to 50 students. 45 to 50 students. You can't teach effectively even if nobody has a cell phone.
No.
Got much deeper problems.
For sure. Okay.